3 whole weeks back to back, 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours, and a weight loss journey that took him from 297 pounds to 191 pounds in 3 months. How did David Goggins go from popping donuts like Tic Tacs, drinking milkshakes on a daily basis, and living a life he never wanted to becoming one of the most hard-working people on this planet?
He's struggling to get up. Wants to go to the gym and start grinding. I had the same condition, man. I had the same problem, so I started studying it. The more I studied it, I came with this crazy conclusion. I was just being a bitch.
At age 24, Goggins' mind shifted from being a pathetic loser to understanding that he has to suffer every single day of his life to achieve greatness.
Nothing is easy. Like running is running. It sucks, but you have a choice to make. Do you want to sit down and go back to that guy you once were? No. So this is what it takes.
His first mission? Well, that is to become a Navy SEAL. But the requirements to become a Navy SEAL for his height was 191 pounds. So Goggins, at nearly 300 pounds, had to lose 106 pounds in 85 days. Where did Goggins get his motivation to want to do this so suddenly? To tell that, we need to take a few steps back and talk a little about his life as he uses these dark, haunting times to get through Navy SEALs Hell Week 3 times and to run over 200 miles in one run with broken feet and injured knees. Goggins was born on February 17, 1975 in Buffalo, New York. His early life was marked with hardship and adversity. Goggins' father was abusive both physically and mentally to David, his brother, and their mother. The beatings were just the beginning. Goggins' father, Trunis Goggins, forced David and his brother to work at his roller skating rink. The boys ended up working early mornings all the way to late nights, with some days equaling 18 hours of labor from these 2 kids. When David was 8 years old, the family escaped his father and left for Brazil, Indiana. Jackie Goggins, his mother, was hoping for safety and a fresh start away from the abusive father. This being a predominantly white town in the 80s, there was more difficulties coming his way. Goggins faced severe racism and bullying throughout school. Goggins never felt welcomed, and he knew he always stood out being one of the few black kids in school. Because of this, he would often try new crazy hairstyles to stand out more, since this seemed to be the only thing he was good at the time.
For me to stand in a fucking room of 10,000 of one person and not and be like, oh, but for me to stop stuttering, I gotta build fucking confidence.
Goggins had a stutter, dyslexia, and learning disabilities, which made things even worse. He had low self-esteem and no confidence.
Weak people hate strong minds, and there's an infestation of weak people in this fucking world.
As an adult, this led Goggins working a dead-end job which he did not like. He felt unfulfilled, and his depression spiraled deep into the dark dungeons. His one sense of fake fulfillment was going to the gas station to get his daily donuts and chocolate milkshakes. He was lost, couldn't read well, couldn't write well, and now 300 pounds of pure misery. David was 24 years old, obese and taking care of 40 different businesses as an exterminator. His life was in turmoil, with little drive to become anything more. One night he was taking a shower, like an average day, but this time he started to hear military artillery and gunshots. His mind started to run with passion and motivation. Goggins stepped out of the shower to find out what he was hearing was a message sent to him. And on the TV, a Navy SEALs documentary was playing. From there, his entire life changed. Right away, he started calling recruiters, which they all denied him. Typically, when someone wants to be a Navy SEAL, they are already in the best shape of their lives. Goggins was a 300-pound obese man. Finally, Goggins made one last phone call, which paid off. Goggins now had 3 months to lose weight to meet the 191-pound requirement he had to be to start BUD/S. He sat down and did all kinds of math to figure out what he had to do to get there. It was not going to be an easy task, but he knew he didn't want to be a fat piece of shit anymore. His words, not mine. David Goggins had to go to the extremes in both the gym and the kitchen to succeed. Did he want to do it? Hell no. Did he have to? Yes, he had to. After sitting down and doing the math, he limited his calorie intake to 800 to 1,000 calories a day with a 40-40-20 split. 40% of his calories will come from a lean protein like fish. The other 40% will come from a complex carb like brown rice and sweet potatoes. and the last 20 will come from healthy fats like olive oil, seeds, and avocados. In 85 days, David Goggins had to lose 1.1 pound every single day. This meant he had to be in a calorie deficit of 4,118 calories. Given his 800 calorie intake, and that generally 1 pound of fat is about 3,500 calories. For most people, losing this much weight this fast would cause a lot of loose skin and stretch marks. However, Goggins' method was unique. His workouts and diets accounted for that. At 4:30 a.m., he would wake up and eat a banana. 5 to 6 a.m., he would ride on the exercise bike. 6 to 7 a.m., he would study for the ASVAB, a standardized time test for the military. 8 to 10 a.m., it was time to swim for 2 miles. 11 to 2 p.m., he did a full body workout of multiple sets per exercise of 100 to 300 reps. 3 to 5 p.m., he was back on the exercise bike, which he also studied on. Now, 5:30, he ran between 2 to 6 miles. 7:30 p.m., it was finally time for dinner to get the rest of the 800 calories in. And if it's not gruesome enough, between 8 to 10 p.m., he was back on the exercise bike before going to bed at 10:30 p.m. That was his regimen every single day. He never had anyone congratulate him at 275 pounds, 250 pounds, 210 pounds. It was only him and his mind dedicated to succeed. Goggins speaks about what motivates him, and that's the haunting of his past that he never wants to go back to. When he was in the freezing cold Pacific in Hell Week, one voice would say, "You are a fat piece of shit. You don't belong here." The other voice would constantly combat it, saying, "You have to do this." Friction is his motivation. An overweight man, dropping weight insanely fast, his body was not prepared for what needed to be done to become a Navy SEAL. During David's first attempt at Hell Week, Goggins suffered from extreme stress fractures and knee injuries. He had to recover before attempting it again. The second attempt was a bit different. With the extremely demanding training of Navy SEALs, David contracted pneumonia and had to recover once again. Finally, the third attempt, David passed BUD/S and Hell Week. Doing it 3 times was a testament of how strong he was mentally and physically. Friction, completing challenges you do not want to do, and beating the odds of your own mind is a Goggins way, which also increases the anterior mid-cingulate cortex within the brain that new studies are finding is associated with willpower. He then went on to finish Army Ranger School in his late 20s. Although he had injured knees and broken feet, he was able to run multiple 100-mile runs, navigating through deserts, mountains, canyons. In his 4.5-day run, David was experiencing a lot of pain from his previous runs. In vulnerability, he started to yell at his wife, Jennifer, about how he hated running and why does he do this to himself. He ran and finished the Moab 240, a 240-mile run. He was also able to beat the Guinness World Record of the most pull-ups in 24 hours and did 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours. He did more than most people would ever do in their lives. And all of it, he would consider it suffering.
The hell you talking about? I was blessed with a strong mind. That's something that you have to develop. You develop that over years, decades of suffering.
People who are obese and make up excuses have small anterior mid-cingulate cortexes. As one keeps challenging oneself, it grows larger and your willpower increases. The moment you stop challenging it, it shrinks. Like Goggins explains, he doesn't want to go back to the old Goggins, so he always challenges himself, keeping his anterior mid-cingulate as large as he can. He isn't blessed with a strong mind. He built a strong mind, and you can too. I think we can all take a piece of what Goggins teaches and use it in our own lives to become who we truly want to become.